To my beloved daughter Amara, who gave me dignity in my final days, who sat by my bedside when I could not breathe, who sold her own things to pay my medical bills, I leave.
Sold her things? Papa, Amara did not sell anything. Where is this man getting his stories? Amara she was just there. That is all anyone does. We all visited Papa. Visited. Chisom, at least Amara showed up. I was busy with my own life. Pamela complained to me, why is he suddenly acting like Amara is the only one who...
My house, the land in Ikorodu, the business account with 15 million naira, and my prize possessed the jewelry that belonged to her mother, all to Amara. To my other daughters, I leave my love and the hope that one day they will understand what they did. The land is worth 15 million.
What? What do you mean 15 million? The land? Papa, you cannot be serious. This is a joke. This is some kind of cruel joke.
Him.
Amara, you manipulated an old dying man. I never asked him for anything. Never asked. Amara, we all know what you did. We were laughing at you, remember? Every day you running around, every night massaging his legs, every morning feeding him like he was a baby. We were laughing because you look so desperate, so foolish.
This is a story about 3 sisters. And if you are watching this right now, I want you to think about something. If your own father or mother or any parent who raised you had to choose between their children based on how they were treated, whose name would be on that will? Whose name would be first? Amara was born the middle daughter in a family where everyone was loud except her. Her father, Colonel Okoro, was a retired military man who believed that children should be seen and heard, specifically heard. He liked noise, chaos, children arguing at dinner, wives laughing in the kitchen, the sound of a full house. Chisom was the eldest, and she was her father's pride. Beautiful, confident, always dressed like money lived in her pocket. She married an oil man and moved to Lagos. She called home maybe 4 times a year. Amanda was the baby, the spoiled one. She wanted to be a socialite, and her father gave her money to try, and money to try again when that failed. She believed that family obligations were for women who had nothing better to do. But Amara was the one who stayed, not because she had no dreams, but because she understood something that her sisters never could. A parent is not a bank. A parent is a person, and that person gets old. And when they get old, they need more than money. They need presence. Amara worked a regular job, not glamorous, not wealthy making, but steady. And every naira she made that was not for survival, she spent thinking about her family. When her father asked for something, she found it. When her mother needed medical attention, Amara arranged it. When cousins needed school fees, Amara was quiet about it, but she paid. No one was keeping score. At least Amara was not, but her father was. He was watching very carefully exactly what each daughter chose to do when it mattered. One morning, Colonel Okoro woke up and he could not feel his left side. The stroke came suddenly. The way sickness comes to old people, not slowly enough to prepare, not quickly enough to be merciful. Chisom was called. She came. She looked at her father for 3 hours and then she said she had to return to Lagos. An oil meeting, she said. Important clients. She would be back next month. Amanda came twice, both times with her husband, both times making it clear that they were busy, that this was difficult for them, that they hoped her father would get better soon so they could resume their normal lives, as if a stroke was an inconvenience they had to tolerate until it went away. But Amara came every morning before work and every evening after work, and on weekends she came all day. She did not ask permission. She did not negotiate. She just came. She bathed her father with her own hands when the nurses were busy. She fed him when he could barely swallow. She called his name to keep him present during moments when the stroke had stolen his words. She paid money she did not have for treatment the hospital said he needed. And do you know what happened during all of this? Her sisters laughed at her. I mean this literally. In family chats, in family calls, they made jokes. Amara is at the hospital again. Can you imagine? She sits there like Papa would die if she leaves. She is wasting her time. Old people recover or they don't. What is Amara thinking she will accomplish? They laughed because they could not understand that love is not about outcome. Love is about choice. Every single day, Amara chose to be there. And every single day, they chose to mock her for it. For 6 months, this was her life. 6 months of choosing her father over sleep, over money, over comfort, over the possibility of a romantic life, over everything. Then one morning, Colonel Okoro called her to his bedside. His voice was very quiet. "Amara, come close." She held his hand, this hand that had disciplined her as a child, that had held hers when she was afraid, that had signed the checks for her education. He said, "I need to put my affairs in order. I need to write my will, and I need to do it while I am still myself enough to know what I am doing." If you have watched me for a while, you know that I always say, watch what people do, not what they say. But today I want to add something. Watch what people do when they think no one who matters is watching. Colonel Okoro knew something about his daughters that most fathers know but never say. He knew that Chisom loved money more than him. He knew that Amanda loved herself more than him. And he knew that Amara loved him more than herself. A man who has lived 70 years does not make careless choices at the end of his life. He makes very deliberate choices. He says, "This is what I valued. This is what mattered. This is what I want to reward." Colonel Okoro had a house, not a mansion, but a solid, respected house in a good area of Lagos. He had property, land in Ikorodu that was increasing in value every year. He had a business account with 15 million naira that he had saved his entire military career for. And he had jewelry, his late wife's jewelry, sacred, precious, the only pieces that connected his children to their mother. Every single piece of it, every asset, every investment, Colonel Okoro left to Amara, not because she was his favorite, but because she was the one who had chosen him. When he was no longer useful, when he could no longer give, when he was weak and dependent and needed someone to wipe his face, Amara was there. To Chisom, he left a letter. To Amanda, he left a letter. In those letters, he wrote words that I want you to imagine if your own parent had to write them. "I love you, but I did not see you." And a parent can only give to the child who sees him. 3 months after signing that will, Colonel Okoro died. Not suddenly, gently, like someone who had completed what he needed to complete. Amara was holding his hand when he went. The will was read in the presence of all 3 daughters.
To
and
my
their
beloved
mother.
daughter Amara, who gave me dignity in my final days, who sat by my bedside when I could not breathe, who sold her own things to pay my medical bills, I leave.
Sold her things? Papa, Amara did not sell anything. Where is this man getting his stories? She was just there. That is all anyone does. We all visited Papa. Visited. Chisom, at least Amara showed up. I was busy with my own life. Pamela complained to me, why is he suddenly acting like Amara is the only one who...
My house, the land in Ikorodu, the business account with 15 million naira, and my prize possessed the jewelry that belonged to her mother, all to Amara did. To my other daughters, I leave my love and the hope that one day they will understand what they did.
As was proper. And when the lawyer finished reading, the silence in that room was the kind of silence that only comes when people are watching years of choices come to their conclusion. Chisom had come from Lagos in a car that cost what her father's house was worth. She had driven it, parked it outside, made sure everyone saw it, and now she was learning that her father had seen something else. He had seen that she had chosen money over him. Amanda, who had told her husband, "I hope this doesn't take too long, I have a spa appointment," was learning that hope does not work that way. You cannot hope away the consequences of your choices. And Amara, who had asked for nothing, who had sacrificed in silence, who had been mocked for loving a man when loving was not convenient, she was learning that her father had seen, he had been watching, and he had kept score. Do me a favor. If you have a parent who is still here, if they are still breathing, still present, even if they are sick, even if they are difficult, even if they are in their last days, do me a favor. Pause this video right now. Stop watching and go spend 1 hour with them. Just 1 hour. No phone, No excuses, just presence. Because I am telling you clearly, a parent remembers the person who was there. They remember the voice that called their name when they could not remember their own. They remember the hands that held them when they wanted to let go. Chisom tried to contest the will. She hired a lawyer. She said Amara had manipulated their father. She said the will was invalid. It took a court case, and in that court, Amara's lawyer presented the evidence, the receipts for the medical bills, the hospital record showing Amara's name every single day, sometimes twice a day. The nurses' testimonies about who was there. The court upheld the will, every single provision, because the evidence was not ambiguous. The evidence was a 6-month record of one daughter showing up and 2 daughters not showing up. And now Amara has everything her father left: the house, the land, the money, the jewelry. But there is something she does not have. She does not have her sisters anymore because they stopped calling after the court decision. And she does not have her father anymore because that is what death means. If you are watching this right now, I want you to think about something. Think about your own life. Think about who has been showing up for you. Think about who has been present when it was not convenient, when there was nothing to gain, when the world told them to go home and mind their business. That person is not stupid. That person is not foolish. That person is not wasting their time. That person is making a choice. And that choice is being witnessed by God, by the universe, by the people around them, and most importantly, by the person they are showing up for. Amara's story is not about money. It is about this. Good behavior has a witness. Kindness has a price. Sacrifice has a weight. And all of it matters more than you think. Maybe you are the Amara in your family. Maybe you are the one showing up while others are laughing. I want you to know, it is not in vain. It is not a waste. It is being seen. Maybe you are the Chisom or the Amanda. Maybe you are the one who realized too late that presence matters more than presence. I want you to know, it is not too late, but it is getting close. Start showing up now. If the story moved you, if you have felt the weight of what choice means, if you have a parent you have been neglecting or a sibling you need to call, do me a favor. Subscribe to this channel because we tell stories about real life, about real families, about what it means to choose love when love is hard. Subscribe so you do not miss the next story. And more importantly, subscribe because I want to remind you, your choices are being witnessed. And now, let me tell you what happened to Chisom and Amanda after the court case. Chisom's oil man marriage fell apart 3 years later when he died, heart attack, sudden. She discovered he had left his money to a woman who was not her. Poetic, some might say, but Chisom would say it was the universe teaching her the lesson she should have learned from her father. Amanda's husband left her for someone younger. She is now living with one of her children, the way she refused to live with her father. She asks for money sometimes. She calls her mother, but never Amara, and she carries the weight of knowing exactly why Amara will not answer. Amara did not become rich overnight. She became rich on purpose. She took her father's house and she opened it to cousins who needed shelter. She took his land and she built on it. She took his money and she created a foundation in his name, helping poor families pay for medical bills. She took his jewelry and she wore it with pride, honoring the mother she never knew and the father who loved her enough to see her. This is what good behavior looks like in the end. Not celebration, not vindication, just peace. Just the knowledge that you did what was right and that the universe and the people who matter noticed. So here is what I want to leave you with today. The thing I want you to remember when you leave this video: presence is inheritance. The time you give to the people you love is the most valuable thing you can leave behind. It is more valuable than money. It is more valuable than land. It is more valuable than anything. And if right now you are thinking, I have been like Amanda, I have been like Chisom, I have neglected someone who mattered, I want you to know you can change. You can start showing up. You can start calling. You can start visiting. It is not too late, except do it now, because you never know when too late actually comes. Thank you for watching. I will see you in the next story, and please, please go be someone's Amara. Go show up. Go be present. Go be the choice that matters.